Hey Star, are you ready?
I'm a lady.
And welcome to iDOL Days, the show about idol anime. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Star.
And we're out of Cursed Idol October, everyone. We are free.
Freedom, 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 freedom. No more cursed idols until next year. Although, can I say I'm kind of bummed? Like, I already want Cursed Idol October back because of that one show that's airing right now.
And, you know, based off of past experience, honestly, we'll probably run into Cursed Idol shows without intending to.
I know. Sometimes they just... Listen, sometimes shows are born cursed, and sometimes shows have cursedness thrust upon them mid-season in like episode 7 Gekidol.
Yep. So who knows, we might get some curse before then.
Who knows? All I know is I'm counting down the days because we are definitely watching Visual Prison next year because oh my god, I'm so excited.
And what else we're counting down is the time till midnight when Cinderella's curse magic spell disappear.
Cool segue.
I was not planned for that, so halfway through my metaphor I just faltered.
No, you should have kept going. It was great.
Thank you. We're talking about Cinderella Girls today.
Pew, 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 pew. Cinderella Girls.
Specifically, the Idolmaster Cinderella Girls.
Yeah.
So these girls are technically part of the Idolmaster franchise.
They're part of the Idolmaster extended universe.
Yes, that's a good way to put it, basically. So all the girls in Cinderella Girls are... Well, backtracking. So Cinderella Girls started as like one of those Mobaje card collecting story games. And it was in the Idolmaster franchise. So from the Mobaje, there was the anime, which spanned over 2 seasons of anime, but it's all technically 1 through 20-something. And then, like, halfway through the anime coming out, the rhythm game came out.
Yeah.
And with the rhythm game came even more girls.
Oh, so many. So many. Oh my god. There's like over 200 Cinderella Girls in the franchise now, right? If it's not over 200, it's very close.
Yeah, I think Cinderella Girls, like, only characters are like 190, but if, like, you include all the crossover characters, it's over 200.
190.
So many.
Initially consisting of 84 idols, the game features a total of 190 idols as of November 2018, making it by far the largest Idolmaster sub-series, though only 94 of them are voiced as of September 2021.
Only
94. Holy fuck.
And the early 80-something, so all of those at least existed before the anime came out.
Yeah. Like, they definitely, like, just continued to add more and more girls as time's gone on.
So many girls.
But, so this was brought up in our Discord, and we didn't even realize it until someone mentioned it. This month, I think, is actually, the 10th anniversary of Idolmaster Cinderella Girls, and we did not plan that.
We're here!
Yeah, we were just like, hey, what do we want to do in November? Let's watch Cinderella Girls finally. Yeah, and then like that was like 4 months ago when we were planning our schedule for the rest of the year. And then a couple days ago, someone in the Discord was like, hey, you guys should do Cinderella Girls in November. And we were like, well, here's the thing about that. All according to Keikaku. Translator's note, Keikaku needs plan.
So, also, just some backstory. Star and I have both watched this anime in the past, but I rewatched it to talk to you guys about it.
Yes, further backstory, peeling back that curtain a little bit. This was supposed to be a both of us episode, as in we both watched the show, and, well, I guess in this case it would be a both rewatch the show, because I watched it when it first came out. And then we both rewatch it and we talk about it. Your girl's dying over here.
F in the chat for Star.
F's in the chat for me. I'm dead. I'm gonna go hang out in Athena's grave and play video games with her because I am stressed the fuck out.
Say hi to the zombie girls for me.
I will. Hi, zombie girls. They say brains.
Wow, I love it.
Anyway. Yeah, your girl is buried under Kickstarter fulfillment and just trying to be a professional artist for a living. And I was like, Sarah, I know we were both gonna watch Cinderella Girls, but Sarah, do you mind watching Cinderella Girls by yourself? And I'll just chime in with what I remember from fucking 2014 or whenever the anime was released, because I'm dying over here, Squidward.
So you guys get the fun dual perspective of recent thoughts and what sticks with you after 6 years.
Yeah, because I've got some thoughts.
Thoughts.
I don't remember a lot. Sarah sent me a picture of the main cast of girls. Mm-hmm. Like, so there's like however many freaking Idolmaster Cinderella girls. This anime focuses, like, at least the first season focuses on like a main group of 14. Mm-hmm. I was like looking at this picture and I'm like, I don't remember half these girls. Like, I remember them, but I would not say that they're like, oh god, this is gonna get me so much hate. I would not say that they're, like, interesting. Listen, when you have 190 idols, the characters start to get a little thin on the personality side. I'm like, I remember your gimmick because that's all they gave you. That is all they gave you, sweet angel. Is like, you're the tall one, you're the mom, you're the one who likes guitars, you're the annoying one.
So let's get into the cast just so we can talk about them.
Oh boy, here we go.
there's a few. So
a couple, just a handful.
Cinderella Girls anime, at least season 1, is different than Idolmaster in that Idolmaster there was like the one subunit, but they were all part of this big unit. Mm-hmm. In Cinderella Girls, they divide up all the girls into these subunits,
which does make them easier to remember.
It does. And for season 1, basically the first like half of season 1 is just based around one unit. And then the other half is just like breakdowns of each of the other units.
Yep. Because what I wrote, it's like, Sidem did this too. So now I feel like it's just become the Idolmaster way with like Idolmaster spinoffs. We'll see what happens when the Million Live anime comes out. But like, they spend the first like 2, or maybe it's just the first episode of this show just learning about the main character and like one other character, like kind of the 2 and then later the 3rd main, and you kind of like, you get to know this trio and then boom, here's 11 more.
Yeah. So the main trio, our main center girl, she becomes more main character energy season 2, I feel, is Uzuki. She has long brown hair. She has like a little twirly side ponytail. She's the pink one.
Yeah, of course she is. Mark that off on your bingo card. Pink leader.
And then there's the blue one, who is Rin.
Who's the stern one. Unsurprising.
She's the stern one. She has black-brown hair, so it's still a little on the brown side. She has a little bit more blunt bangs, and it's longer. And then last of that trio is Mio. She's the orange one.
She is the drama kid in more ways than one.
Yes, she is very flamboyant. She has flippy hair. She ends up being this unit's leader. And their unit is eventually named New Generations. So,
and we cosplayed them.
Yeah, we did. They have these cute little red military-esque outfits. It's cute.
Yeah, they get them like halfway through the first season, right?
Yeah, about halfway.
They're cute as shit. We cosplayed them at, was it AWA a few years ago? I think it was AWA.
Yeah, more than a few years ago.
It was a while ago. That was pre-Star Goes to Japan, so that would have been like 2015 or 16.
Ages.
I guess it would have been 2016.
Probably.
Yeah.
So now I will get into the other subunits. And as much as I wish I could just skip over them because they are just kind of gimmick characters, unfortunately each of them have an episode. So I should probably explain who they are.
You might want to take notes. There will be a quiz at the end.
But I'll go quick. So the first duo is Midami, and she kind of has like sleepy looking eyes. She has brown hair. She's usually held back in a ponytail.
Tired mom energy.
Tired mom energy. She's the oldest. She's in college, and she always has a lacrosse stick.
That's her gimmick. She carries around. She likes to play lacrosse. One could assume.
Probably.
We never actually see her use it. It could just be a prop.
The next character in her unit, it's a duo unit. They're called Love Laika. Is Anastasia.
Baby.
She's Russian. That's her gimmick.
And that's her personality. She's Russian.
She has white hair and blue eyes, but she's also she's one of like the nicer, like no drama type characters.
Yeah, I actually really like her. So Sarah and I have both played the Cinderella Girls mobile game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how much you still play it. I dropped it after a couple years.
I dropped it earlier than you.
Yeah, I think I dropped it around the time the Million Live game came out, honestly, because that one just has so many like quality of life improvements that just make it a lot easier to play.
And Makoto's there.
And Makoto, listen. But no, yeah, I just remember that Anya or Anastasia, whichever you want to call her, she has a lot of really good outfits, and she's kind of got like a space theme going with a lot of her outfits, and she's a good bean.
Yes. And then not currently in their unit, but eventually kind of joins their unit is Ranko. She has gray hair and twin pigtails, and she is a Chunibyo.
Chuni.
She's super chuny. She is a fallen angel of darkness. But in this season, she starts off as a solo idol.
Yeah, and then she eventually gets adopted, sort of, kind of.
Yes, kind of. So the next group is a trio. They are Candy Island. And so now
Babies.
they are all the, I guess not uwu, but they're the cutesy looking ones. So there's Anzu. Her gimmick is that she's short and she only wants to work if she's getting paid, which I mean, fair. Capitalism's a bitch. Then there's Kanako. Her gimmick is she likes to bake. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
Yeah. And she's just like a little chubby.
Yeah, just a little bit thicker than the other ones.
Like she's anime chubby, which means she probably has like a 30-inch waist instead of a 29-inch waist. I don't know. I'm just pulling numbers out of my ass, but
And she has like shoulder length tannish hair.
she's cute.
And then the last one is Chieri. She has like a dark-ish red hair and pigtails. Her gimmick is she just likes 4-leaf clovers and she's shy.
Yeah, she's the Yukiko of this season. They actually like give her like a little bit of a gimmick in like one of the OVAs that I'll admit I never watched, but I did see like one clip of it where apparently she's like really, really good at Taiko, like the video game.
I love that.
And I'm like, wow, wish this had been in the show and not like a little extra episode.
The next unit is called Decoration.
Yeah, they're the ones with the high-pitched anime girl voices. Yay!
They are basically just decor fashion unit. So the tall one in the group is the tallest of the new girls, Kirari.
Love her.
She talks like uwu all the time.
She does.
She talks uwu, but she's like she's a good girl. She's not like she's not as cringe as another character we'll get to later.
Yeah.
And then with her are the two shortest characters aside from Anzu. There's Rika. She is young. She has long blonde hair and like a little like and also like two tiny ponytails up at the top. So she just has a lot of hair.
How do you feel about this character, Sarah?
I don't like how.
Yeah.
So her thing, is she has an older sister who is also an idol, and her older sister's like image is like super sexy, and so this character's gimmick is, hey, I want to be like my little sister.
Big sister. Big sister.
Even though I'm a child. And you're like...
So she's like 11 and she keeps trying to act sexy and I'm like, stop.
Yeah, like...
Stop.
Like, yeah, I get in real life there's probably kids like that, but you could tell this is for the gross anime fans and I don't like it.
No, not a fan. Not a fan. Not a fan. Yeah.
And then the other small in the group is Miria. She has like gray black hair and two twin pigtails. She's the youngest member of the boot group.
She basically has the Ruby Love Live hairstyle.
Yes, and she kind of acts like Ruby Love Live.
Yeah, except her whole thing is like she's the big sister, but she's still little. She's like 8.
Yeah, and then also she's incredibly impressionable. So when any of the other girls like are like, "Hey, come along with my gimmick," she's like, "Yes, I will."
And then you're like, "No, maybe don't do that." Actually.
And now the worst subunit.
Uh-oh, controversial take!
I don't think it is Asterisk. There is Rena. Her personality is that she says she likes rock, but she's a poser.
She's a total poser. Like, listen, I do like her character. I think she's fun, but she's such a fucking poser.
Yeah, so she always has headphones around her neck. She also has, like, medium brown hair. There's a lot of them in this series.
Yeah.
And she tries to wear, like, punk clothes a lot of the time.
And she's like got a guitar. She doesn't know how to play it, but she carries it around.
Yep.
And she's like, "Yeah, I'm a rocker. I'm totally a rocker. What's a G chord?"
And now we get to the worst character in Cinderella
Hot
Girls.
take alert!
It is
Pew, pew,
so
pew,
not
pew,
a hot
pew,
take.
pew, pew, pew. Lukewarm at best take.
I feel like for a lot of the episodes, especially shows I've seen before, I like to go back and like skim like anime message boards and forums or Reddit posts, just like, what did people think of back then versus now? And it's like, no, everyone hates Miku.
Rest in fucking pieces. I remember there was so much Mio hate going around when the show first aired.
No, she's good.
I feel like people kind of came around to her though. Miku has always been trash, and there she'll stay.
So she also has brown hair and a bob. It's darker than Rena's. She always wears cat ears. She ends every sentence with Nya. And
she's the Nya girl, but is somehow even more insufferable than Rin Love
she's
Live.
aggressively cat girl and is like trying to force everyone to be aggressively cat girl, but also thinks she's the best and tries to intrude herself in everything.
It fucking sucks.
It's the worst. So we'll find out a lot more about her as time goes on.
Yeehaw. So that's our main 14.
Yes. So there's 14, but for the first, like, 6 episodes, honestly, you really only need to care about the new generation girls. So Uzuki, Rin, and Mio.
Yeah.
All right. So, one other big character, important character, is the producer.
Producer song!
So, unlike original Idolmaster, where producer guy was kind of just out in the back of the scenes, the producer here does have a personality, and it is that he is creepy as fuck.
He's like, I don't think he's intentionally creepy. He's just really, really awkward.
Yeah, he's like super tall. He has baggy eyes. He visually looks like stereotypical Japanese businessman, but like
very intimidating.
He has like this deep voice, and then he's just like standing around and staring. As you do.
He's just awkward. Like, okay, so there's a Bo Burnham song, and I keep hearing it on TikTok. I forget exactly how it leads in, but it's like, prolonged eye contact, prolonged eye contact, prolonged eye contact, prolonged eye contact. And it goes on like that for a while. That's this producer.
Yes, it is. So let's get into it, huh?
Yeah, let's fucking go.
So episode 1, it starts with, like, a song. We see a performance of Cinderella Girls. These are not our main 13. They're people who already exist in this Cinderella Girls production unit, part of 346 Pro.
Mishiro Pro. All the freaking Idolmasters are numbers, and I forget, but it's like 346, so Mishiro.
And once you're a Cinderella Girl, it's kind of like AKB, where you're, like, part of, like, this idol franchise.
Yeah. The Idolmaster Extended Universe.
Yes. So all these Cinderella Girls are on stage, and there's, like, a cute, like, clock-ticking background. And then they are singing the anime's, like, big new song, which is, like, Onegai Cinderella. It's super cute.
Onegai Cinderella. god, so fucking good.
So good. Such a classic. Like, when I think Cinderella Girls is beautiful. Good taste.
Yeah, I just remember that, like, compared to the original Idolmaster anime, the first episode of this show is actually really good.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, they go heavy with the visual metaphor, with, like, it's called Cinderella Girls. They stick to that, and there is so much, like, nice symbolism if you look for it, and sometimes it's more overt than other times, but it's, like, it's actually really, really nice to just, like, watch. It's like, oh, this is cool. Oh, that I understand that reference.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. So after that intro, we cut to Uzuki, our main girl. And she is currently in a really small agency, almost like 765's like training area, right? So it's like just an office building on the side, and she's with her trainer and she's practicing. And they were talking, her and her trainer are talking about like, hey, I just failed the last Cinderella Girls audition, but I hear there's another one coming up. I'm going to keep working hard. I'm not going to give up. And her trainer's like, yeah, I'm so glad you're sticking around even after all of like the other people left. Kind of implying that Uzuki is like the I will never give up character because she's the pink one. When all of a sudden there's a knock at the door.
Who could that be?
And a creepy guy walks in.
Dun dun dun.
And it's actually funny because like during this whole sequence, like the music is like the really tense like strings, like actual like horror anime music sting background, and you're like, oh no, he's going to murder them.
Congratulations, Uzuki, you'll be an idol in heaven, I'm sure.
I mean, we have established that probably exists, right, Star?
Oh, fuck, you're right.
So creepy guy turns out not to be a murderer. He is
Thank God.
the producer, and he works for 346 Pro. And he is starting a new unit of the Cinderella Girls, and this whole thing is called the Cinderella Project. Lots of Cinderellas, but they're all Cinderella Girls.
Yep.
And he comes in and he's like, hey, I saw you at the last audition. Because I'm starting this new idol franchise and I remember you, I wanted to come here and offer you to join this project because you did well in the auditions. You just barely not passed last time. And more than anything, I like your smile.
Yeah.
Which is like, that's the producer's thing, is apparently he recruits girls based off of their smile.
Yeah.
And this is never explained.
No, of course not.
He does not explain what he means by a smile. No.
Why would he need to, Sarah? Your smile says it all.
You're right. You're absolutely right. So Uzuki is overwhelmed with emotion. She's all excited. She's like, oh, I finally get to be an idol. This is my dream. I got complimented on my smile. I'm going to just keep smiling. Yes, I will sign all your paperwork and become part of the Cinderella Project.
Yep.
But then he informs her that even though she is going to be on the Cinderella Project, she's going to be part of a subunit of the Cinderella Project. And so far, she's the only member of 3 on the subunit. So she's just kind of like on standby and like isn't actually able to have like her fancy training or even talk about having a debut until the other 2 have been found.
And so she's just like keeping herself occupied. And she's like, I guess I'll just keep doing this then. Wahoo!
Wahoo!
Am I gonna get to do anything at any point? Eventually?
Yay!
Okay!
But anyways, she's so happy. She just like runs home, and on the way home, she walks by a flower shop. And she's like, I'm gonna buy some flowers for myself. And who do we see there but Rin, who is not part of anything yet, but it's just like, oh, they get to meet each other before all this happens and they get along.
Yep. So Rin is like an employee at this flower shop. I think like her parents probably run it or something.
Yeah, because I think if I remember right, I think the sign on the flower shop was Shibuya. So
yeah, which is her last name.
So after Uzuki has her whole interaction, the producer is also walking back from the training studio that Uzuki was with, and he runs into Rin. At this point, she's just like in front of like this crying child, and there's like a policeman there being like, why did you make this child
I
cry?
remember this.
And Reen's like, I swear I didn't. And then the police officer's like not hearing it. But the producer steps in, and eventually the whole thing's resolved. And Reen's like, yeah, I was just helping the kid. And the kid tells her whatever. I just want to point this whole sequence out because Reen is not smiling during any of this.
No, she is not. Rin is very much like resting bitch face to the extreme.
And
which, like, I get. Me too.
But also more than that, she's like getting arrested and there's a crying kid. Like, she's the opposite of smiling.
Yeah, and she like, her whole thing in this scene is like, she's not really doing a good job of defending herself because she's just like, I didn't do anything. And you're like, you could just say what was going on. You could just say, it's like, yeah, the kid dropped his toy parts. I was like, because doesn't the kid like speak up and is like, no, she was just helping to keep people out of the area because I dropped a part of my toy. And I'm like, Rin, you could have said that before the fucking cop tried to arrest you. What the fuck?
Yep. So she's not smiling. She doesn't even talk much. But anyways, at the end of this interaction with the producer and the kid and Rin at the police station, the producer hands her a business card and is like, hey kid, you want to be an idol?
And she's like, what the fuck?
And she's like, no way. I've never wanted to be an idol in my life. I don't care about it. You're just being creepy.
It's like, you're creepy. Bye.
But then we get a sequence of the producer just like showing up at like Rin's house, Rin's school, like when she's shopping and just being like, hey, join my idol group. Join my idol group.
Hey, you want to be an idol?
And
that's okay, I'll ask you again later.
And it's like at some point he almost gets arrested because he's being a creep. Because he is.
Yeah.
But then Reen steps in and is like, no, I was like actually gonna take his business card, don't actually arrest him, it's fine. Right? Because she's like, I don't want all this trouble because I'm just ignoring this guy.
Probably being a little too nice, but okay.
Yeah. And then they have a conversation being like, hey, why do you want me to be an idol anyways? I've never danced or sung in front of you. And the producer's like, your smile.
Your smile.
And then Brian's like, did I smile in front of you? And he responds, not yet. Which is like,
this is the creepiest thing.
You're so creepy.
It's like, you get serious serial killer vibes off this guy.
Yeah. And then, like, at some point, it's, like, kind of implied that he's, like, trying to make her happy because he sees she's a good person. But, like, at that point, it's like the producer's like, I want you to be an idol so I can fix you and make you happy. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, no.
No.
Woof.
Meanwhile, so Reen like turns him away, right? Again, but she's like, this time she's like thinking about it, like, I could do something that makes me smile, maybe. I don't know. Meanwhile, Uzuki, the person who's been like in like a training office to be an idol for like months now, is still practicing because she wants people in her unit. The producer goes up to her and is like, hey, I'm sorry, we still haven't found other members, but I'm in negotiations with one person. And Uzuki gets all excited and it's like, I'm so excited. There's another girl who wants to be an idol with me. This is going to be the best. We're going to be idols. We're going to form a unit.
We're going to be besties. We're going to hang out. We're going to sing on stage together. Oh my God, this is going to be the best shit. Tell me where she lives.
Well, basically, so like, she's like, hey, next time you meet with her, can I come with? So like, I can like help her figure out her contract terms, basically.
Yeah.
And the producer's like, yeah, actually, I was going to go see her now.
And Uzuki's like, let's go!
So off they go to Reen's, like, flower shop. Like, outside the flower shop, there's this park in front. And Reen's there, like, walking her family dog. Like, just normal clothes.
Yeah, just like this little Yorkie.
And Uzuki gets all excited because she's like, oh, you're the girl from the flower shop. You were super nice to me. So the two of them start talking, and the producer's off to the side.
Just loitering. And
they get along at first. They're just, like, talking and, like, having happy talk. And then Uzuki's like, so, how long have you wanted to be an idol? How's the contract going? And Reen's like, I don't want to be an idol. This guy won't stop bothering me. Which, like, poor Uzuki.
Yeah.
She's been working so hard. And, like, the other negotiating contract terms are like this, like, let's go bother a random girl on the street and not do anything else.
Basically.
Yeah. So
this whole like at this point you just find somebody else, man.
Yeah, or like at least keep your options open. You need 3 people, right? Like, come on.
Yeah. Because like, yeah, fast forwarding a little bit, just like Mio, the third member of their unit, just pops up at the end of the episode like, hi, I'm Mio, I'm also here.
Yep.
And we're like, well, why couldn't we? I'm sure there's plenty of people in this city who want to be idols. There's one right there. Hi, I'm Mio. Why couldn't you have like found someone who actually wanted to do it, I guess? I don't know. It's just weird.
Also, it's implied that like Uzuki and like her other people she was training with, they keep going to audition after audition and there's a lot of applicants. So it's like...
Yeah, so it's like, you definitely have some material to work with here.
There's at least 100 more people that will be added to the franchise after this.
190, Sarah.
Well, I mean, at this point, there's probably 90, right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe.
But it also gets out that Uzuki's like, oh, but then why did he want to recruit you? And Rin's like, he said something about liking my smile. And then Uzuki's like, shocked face, like...
Oh, he said that to me too.
But Uzuki being Uzuki, she's only shocked and down for a second, but then she continues on about, like, you know, the idol thing. Like, I wanted to be an idol since I was a kid, to be on a sparkling stage and to sing and dance and make people happy, you know?
Very main character, very generic.
Very generic main character at this point. And then Rin watches her do this, and she, like, kind of has, like, that sparkle in her eyes, like, oh, I'm being inspired.
Oh, I might be a little bit gay. I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
I mean, we're not gonna get too into... I mean, you always ship the pink one and the blue one. That's how it works.
Yeah. I'm channeling you right now, Sarah.
Yes.
It feels like something you would say.
But anyways, at the end, the producer is like, hey, if you change your mind, be idol. And Rin's like, I think I've changed my mind. Let's try it. Maybe I'll find something I'm passionate about here.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I will be Idaru. Maybe.
And then in the last, probably last 30 seconds, there is a short clip of Mio in an actual audition getting accepted and joining the group and being like, hey.
Yup. She's like, hi, I'm Mio, and I'm also here, by the way.
Yeah, so, like, Mio was in an audition. Mm-hmm. Like, come on.
There's other people. You don't need to harass random girls on the street, producer-san.
No, you do not.
None the fuck.
Episode 2.
Pew, 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 pew.
So, episode 2, you hear the OP for the first time. Yeah. OP1. So it's cute, it's sparkly, it's very Idol Master.
Yeah, I actually really like both of the openings.
I do
from
too.
Cinderella Girls.
Big agree.
They're very like princess vibes.
Mm-hmm.
But like in kind of like a soft, nice way that's not like necessarily like a... It's more in a blue way than a pink way, if that makes sense. Because you think princess vibes and you think, yes, cute, fluffy pink princess. But this is more of like kind of a refined princess feel, I guess. Mm-hmm. It's more of a blue feel than a pink feel.
More like Hime than princess.
Yeah.
So episode starts with Rin and Uzuki going to the 346 campus. Mm-hmm. And it is huge. So like, again, very opposite of 765 Pro, right? Like giant campus, like Oron Academy size, huge.
The illustrious Mishiro Academy.
Mishiro Academy. And so, like, there's some gags with them, like, walking through the office and, like, Mio just kind of getting lost, but, like, meeting up with them. And they're like, oh, hey, there's a girl there. Because they don't know her yet.
Yeah, there's, like, a lot of cameos to future characters in this little bit, too. Isn't Rika the annoying toddler? Isn't she, like, up in a tree at some point?
She is up in a tree at some point.
Sit down, child!
And there's also a lot of cameos of, like, the other, like, I guess 80-something girls that exist at the time in the background.
Yeah, this show has, like, if we tried to list all the cameos of all the girls, we'll be here all day. But just know they've got a plenty of girls to choose from, and they just fill the background with all these cameo characters. Will they actually have spoken lines? Most of the time, no.
No.
But there they are.
And you can usually tell who they are because there are so many, so most of them, at this point at least, their personality is just, like, one gimmick. Like, army, boobs, cop. Like, that's all you got.
Yeah. There is a cop one, isn't
there? There is a cop one. So there's also, like, at some point, because they're walking by all these idols, there is a dialogue line that I thought was funny where Rin was like, are these all of these girls idols? And, like, Uzuki and Mio, who, like, actually, like, want to be an idol and are into idols, are like, yeah, it's blah, 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 blah. And the Rin's like, aren't there too many idols? And he just says, yes.
Yes, Rin, there are.
There are.
Far too many.
So, they end up at, like, their main, like, hangout area, like, the main Cinderella Project office. And the producer meets them and it's like, hey, thank you for coming here. We're going to take you to your first project, which is going to be to take PR photos with the other girls from the Cinderella Project.
But who are the other girls from the Cinderella Project, Sarah?
All of the other ones that I mentioned at the beginning of the episode.
Boom, 11 more characters.
All at once.
Yup. It's like, one of these days they're gonna stop doing that.
So they kind of do I feel like this is also an idol trip at this point where it's like, take photos, and then the audience of the anime gets an idea of their personality quirk through, like, their photo pose.
Because, yeah, that's what they did in Original Idolmaster too.
Yes, it is. They did it in both of them.
And Idolish 7 did it.
Yep.
And, yeah. It's just a thing now.
It's just an idol anime thing. It's like, if you don't want to explain their gimmick, just have them take a photo with their gimmick.
Yeah, I feel like that needs to be added to the Idol Days bingo sheet.
Absolutely. So, because they were late, they were kind of a little overwhelmed by everyone. But everyone's still happy to meet each other. And then part of the way through during the photography session, Rika's big sister shows up, Mika.
It's not confusing at all.
No. The small one's big sister shows up. Her name is Mika. She's
great.
Pink hair. She has a fangy. She is great. Like, she's the sexy one, but she's like beautiful and friendly, you know?
Yeah, she's kind of like the cool older cousin type, is kind of like a cool vibe for her. Is like, you just like, she look at you and you want to impress her. It's like, yeah, 'cause she's cool.
She's like the pretty girl in the bathroom at a concert that just lifts you up.
Yeah.
That's who she is.
Good way. Yes, absolutely. Love it.
She's like, yes, queen, go off. You got this. Beautiful look. Good job. That's who she is.
Yup. And you're just like, wow, I love you.
I love you and I feel so much better now that you're here.
Yup.
So she comes in and she kind of gives all the girls tips, like, oh, hey, you'll be all right. It's cool. This is the first project. You're fine. All of us other Cinderella girls who are already famous went through this too. We're looking out for you. You got this. Mm-hmm. And then it's time for new generations to take their photos. And at first they're really stiff. But then the director gives them a ball to play with. So they start loosening up and just playing around, and they get good photos and they do good.
Yeah.
And Mika, who's there watching, is looking at them, and she goes to the producer and she's like, I like those 3 girls a whole lot.
I want them. Give them to me for my collection. Time to scout them.
So essentially she asked the producer towards the end of the episode if she could have...
Gonna do a 10 roll.
To do a 10 roll. And
do a 10 roll in the gacha and get these girls.
It's a 3 roll, really. She's only getting 3.
Give me these PNGs.
So she asked to have the New Generations girls as backup dancers for her next concert.
Yeah. Even though they have 0 experience.
Yes, this is their first day there.
Yep.
But the producer is a little bit nervous, but like the overall manager of like the Cinderella whatever unit is like, this will be a good experience for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's episode 2. So episode 3, it mostly focuses around the New Generations girls, and they are starting training. But there's a lot of interference, specifically with Nya Cat Girl, where this whole episode, she's trying to like, first of all, she's upset because this trio like started last as the unit of the Cinderella project, and now they have this job as backup dancers.
Which is like a fair thing to be upset about.
Yeah, that's fair. But she becomes feral. She's like a feral cat girl. Like she goes in and like inserts herself into things, like throws things, like constant neon. I was like, I have this thing where I hate cat girls, and I think it might be because of Miku.
Nice.
I hate her so much. She's so horrible. But yeah, basically she tries to like take over, being like, I can dance better than you. Hey producer, get rid of these girls and let me step in instead. Like, just calm down.
Nice. She just fucking sucks.
Yep.
So much.
But New Generation girls aren't let down. They continue practice, and a lot of their practice is them practicing the backup dancing songs, like Mika in the front and them in the back. And it's like the normal idol, like they're tired at first, but they keep going.
Your training montage.
And then it eventually gets to the point where like they're training so hard, like while the other subunits are training, they're like on break and they're tired, but like the New Gen girls are still dancing. And so Cat Girl admits defeat, being like, I guess I don't got it yet. And you're like, no, you don't.
No, you don't. Sit down.
Sit down.
Sit down, yeah.
And then it is concert day. All 3 of our New Generations girls are like super stressed, right? Mm-hmm. So they had their practice days. They pretty much only had like a week to practice, a few days maybe at most. But their like trainer was like, okay, you passed, but barely. Just like don't mess up here, here, and here. So they already have all this in the back of their head. And then they go on for the sound check. And, like, they go up on the raising platform, and all of them, like, see, like, the blinding lights and, like, the moving platform, and they stumble, and then they don't even get to practice their dance.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, shit, oh, fuck, we're screwed, oh, shit,
yeah.
Oh, fuck, oh, God, maybe we shouldn't have been idols, this is too scary, what do we do?
Yeah. And the way the concert is laid out is that Mika is not the only performer. The other people from her, I guess, subunit in this anime, I think they assign them as a subunit. They all have like solo performances and then a big one at the end. And our girls are only part of one song as like backup dancers. So like as they watch the other girls perform, they're like in the green room and they're watching them on TV. And it's kind of cool because visually like it just becomes more and more desaturated where you're like, oh no, these girls are really like stressed. It's nice because it's one of those things where like I understand why this was told in a visual way and I appreciated that. Yeah.
Like, this whole show is really good about that. There was one little bit that I forgot to mention in the first episode. But, like, you see that there's a clock hanging on the wall in, like, Uzuki's little training studio, like, the very first place that she was. It's like, there's a sign hanging on the clock that says out of order or something. And then as soon as the producer shows up to recruit her, the sign falls off the clock. And it's like, oh, she's the countdown has started to her being a Cinderella girl. Hey,
it's so good.
It's just, there's a lot of that, like, strewn throughout the show, and you can tell, like, listen, I love original Idolmaster. You can tell that this one, they put a lot more thought into what they were presenting to the audience, and I appreciated that a lot.
So, they're still in the, like, very gray, desaturated space when they are, like, ushered into, like, the stage backstage, like, really close to go on. And they run into the other performers. So, like, they run to Mika and the other people from her unit. And all of those girls are like can notice that New Generations is super stressed. But one of them steps forward and is like, hey, you know what'll help is if you guys have like a little chant before you go on stage. Ours is some sort of food item. I forgot to write it down.
Yeah, is that important?
Whatever. And so then all the girls in New Generations, the three of them, are like, okay, this is something to think about besides failing on stage. Yes, let's think about our chant.
Just fill your brain with anything else.
So then they start doing Jankenpon, and they decide who wins, gets to decide what their chant is. And it kind of becomes their gimmick where they play rock, paper, scissors every time before they go on stage to see who gets to do the chant. And it's pretty cute.
Yeah.
So their chant was fried chicken this time because Mio likes fried chicken.
Yep.
Which is fair.
So they jump on stage all screaming fried chicken.
Yes, they do. It's super cute. And then we get Mika's performance with the New Generations as backup dancers.
Yeah, I love this song.
It's called Tokimeki Escalate. It's like, she's basically like tongue twister singing.
Yup.
It's like very fast. It's very peppy. It's good.
It's good. And also like the little outfits that New Gen has during this segment, I love them. They're pretty basic. It's just like white kind of collared shirt, vest, tiny top hat, and like I think they have like black skirts, but they're very simple, but I would cosplay these. They're super cute.
The other thing that's fun is that in the anime, they also master the audio to make it sound like you're on stage, which is pretty cool. So you don't get as much background music and you get some reverb from the audio and you hear a lot more of the cheers. It's just kind of fun, the remastered you're on stage version. I liked it.
Yeah, it's super good. Like I said, just another, like, they just put so much, like, thought, and they probably had a bigger budget for this show, I would argue.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the song, Mika, instead of just going off stage, is like, hey, you see these girls back here? They're the new generation of the Cinderella Girls. Hi, you meet them. They're great.
Here they are. Look at these beans.
Look at these beans. I love these beans because she has the energy of that girl at the concert bathroom. She's just uplifting. Wonderful. Love Mika.
He's like, yeah, Slay Queen. And then she...
Basically, I love her.
Although I guess in this case it would be Slay Princesses because that's if we're sticking with the Cinderella Girls metaphor.
So all the audience cheers for them, and then like the big bosses from Mishiro are watching, and they're like, "Yes, we approve." So all of them do good.
Yeah, and so like that as like a small parallel, that's almost what that's kind of sort of remarking on like something like half. The season finale of season 1 of Original Idolmaster, that's kind of similar to what happened with Miki. It's like she just kind of got this bump, and then suddenly she's like, so for them, like you get kind of like a kickstart into your career a little bit, and so that kind of helps them throughout the rest of the series.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Nice.
The parallel between the two.
Parallel lines.
Episode 4. I'm going to just kind of skim through this one. This is the other idol anime trope where the new generation girls are tasked with making a PR video.
Yeah.
And it's just them like carrying a camcorder around. And it's like first person view from the camcorder and they're interviewing random people. And it's like...
Idolmaster the FPS.
Yeah. It's just each of them kind of saying their gimmicks, basically.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's worth going through the whole thing because we kind of already described the characters.
Yeah. Skip ahead.
Yeah. The only thing that I would say is important content is at the very end of this episode. The producer announces that there are going to be some girls from the Cinderella Project debuting. And those girls are Uzuki, Rin, and Mio as New Generations. And Anastasia and Minami as they become Love Laika. So, 5 of the girls. Episode 5 picks up where we left off.
Yep.
So those 5 girls, super excited. They're like, we're gonna start our dream. We're gonna be Cinderella girls. This is the best. Everyone else is a mix of like supportive to like extremely jealous.
I wonder who is extremely jealous. Could it be a certain cat-eared motherfucker?
It was a cat-eared motherfucker. Basically, same thing. She just goes around. She like tries to take over their training. There's a point where she like forces other girls to dance with Anya and Minami, being like, well, they're only a duo, not a trio. There's room for another one. Meanwhile, the other thing that's annoying is when the cat girl is like, hey, what about this producer? Do this producer. I'm the best producer. The producer's just like, I'll think about it. Like, so vague. Like, he doesn't tell these girls anything.
Yeah. It just reminds me of the girl I knew at high school.
The cat girl?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh, no.
I very distinct, like, she got better later, but she was definitely, like, she wanted to take charge at practice, but she was also, like, one of the ones who was, like, causing problems all the time because she couldn't listen to direction, and I'm like, sit down.
So then, after hearing basically nothing one way or the other from the producer, because again, like, he could very easily say, like, hey, we're planning the date for your debut. Right now, he's just like, I'll let you know when it happens, which is so annoying.
Yeah, it's like, commit, motherfucker.
Also, these girls are like, this is like their career at this point. So if the person's like, I don't know, we'll let you know eventually, and you're just sitting there being like, I came in later and you're not telling me anything, I would be pissed too, honestly.
Honestly, yeah, same. Communication is an important part of building a career with collaborators that you can depend on. And this is not a good example.
No, I mean, the least producer can do is saying that she can't debut because Nia is cringe.
Yeah.
You're like, you're too cringe to debut. Calm down and then maybe.
Too cringe. Goodbye.
So then Nia, after not being able, I'm going to call her Nia for now on because that's all she is. After not being able to get anywhere with the producer, decides her best course of action is to go on strike and occupy the cafeteria at
I remember
Mishiro
this
Pro.
shit.
So,
oh my god.
So she's like there with like the megaphone being like, we demand a debut. I think Rika's there with her and Anzu, but I think Anzu's only there because she thinks it's a labor strike and not like an idol strike.
I don't like Anzu. She's annoying.
I love Anzu. I feel like I liked her more after rewatching because I noticed it's less like her wanting to be lazy and more her only wanting to work when she's getting paid.
That's fair, but I just like me being a person, I'm just like, you're obnoxious.
I love Anzu.
All right, well, you're entitled to your opinion, I guess. I know, like, I don't blame people who like her because, like, I could see why, but to me, she's very annoying.
Yes. I feel like she's more like how Miki was in Idolmaster, but instead of just being, like, sleepy, she's like, we demand fair wages. So I like her.
See, it's the means of idol production.
Basically. She only wants to work when she's getting something that'll produce royalties in the future, which, smart.
Yep.
But anyways, after being held up at the cafe for a while and getting nowhere, the producer walks up and he's like, hey, I'm so sorry it came to this point, cat girl. He's like, and then he actually talks to her and is like, hey, we have your debut in the works. It's being planned. I just didn't want to tell you about it because it's uncertain. But it's like, you could have told her about it.
You could have just told her that it's like, hey, we're working on it. You didn't have to like keep it vague, and now look, the idols are on strike. They're gonna throw someone off a roof until their demands are met.
I mean, basically. So then after Nya hears that, oh, I will have a debut eventually, and they are planning it, not just ignoring me, she gives up her occupation of the cafe. And then goes up to New Gen and Love Laika, and she's like, well, you guys, I'll cheer you on. I won't try to interfere anymore. You guys gotta fight hard so we can have our debut.
Yeah.
The end.
The end.
So next episode, episode 6, we are halfway through season 1, which again, it's weird to call it season 1 because like it kind of just kept going straight through, but there's one arc.
You get the idea.
Yeah. So the New Generation girls and the Love Like girls, all of them are working really hard because their debut is coming up, and with their CD debut, they will be also having a mini concert to promote their CDs.
Mm-hmm. I just remember all the controversy that came about from this episode. People were fucking pissed.
Yeah, it's fair. So Mio is like super chill throughout the whole thing. She's like, I'm working hard. We're going to have our concert soon. I'm excited. I'm not nervous at all. Reen is just like the quiet blue one. She no opinion one way or the other on how it's going. Uzuki is like overwhelmed and is like practicing extra hard, like worried she's doing stuff right, seeing everywhere she's falling behind. But the nice thing is like it's not like Uzuki's falling behind and she feels like alone. It's more of like Uzuki's falling behind, but the other girls are there to help her, right? But she's just, you could tell she's nervous about this concert.
Yeah.
So then it is time for the live with New Generations and Love Laika. Mio, again, she's chill, she's excited. She's like, I invited all of my friends from school to come and watch this concert. It'll be fine. They get to the venue, and the venue is like in a shopping mall.
Yeah.
And Uzuki, she's still nervous, doesn't matter. Reen's like, yeah, this is chill. And Mio is like, what's this? This is not like a real venue.
Yeah.
Then Mio, instead of just being happy, she starts getting like more and more worried or concerned. Love Laika's concert is first. They sing their song Memories, like their image song. I think it's very cute. Yeah. It's very strong beat. You also see during, like, so Love Laika performs, but their song keeps going, and then New Generations comes on stage with the Love Laika music in the background, right? So you don't actually hear New Generations song, you just see them performing, and
they kind of bomb it.
They do kind of bomb it. Like, Uzuki, you could tell she's just flustered the whole time because she's worried about doing good.
Mio's got like that shadow over her eyes that's anime language for she's not happy.
Reen still has resting bitch face, so just not making an attempt to smile, I guess.
Yeah.
And then they finish their song, and the Love Laika song ends around the same time. And you hear like the scattered claps from the audience because it's just the passersby in the shopping mall. And then there's a loud cheer heard, and Mio looks up, and it's her classmates holding a banner, and they're up on like the balcony on the second floor cheering for her.
Yeah, which you think would make her happy, but it just kind of is embarrassing because she didn't know like their first concert was going to be such a small thing. The problem with having them perform with Mika that first time is they weren't eased into the idol life. They had a really big hit right off the back with a huge concert, and then they had to go back and do the baby shit, and Mio's just like, this is baby shit.
Yep.
This is not what I was led to believe the concert would be like, and she just gets really pissed off.
Yeah, so she runs off stage. She doesn't even like take a bow or anything. Afterwards, producer runs after her because she's like leaving out the back exit and is like, hey, what's wrong, Mio? And Mio's like, there was no one there. What the heck are you thinking is wrong? And producer's like, this is normal. It's fine. Which is like not what she wanted to hear.
Kind of what you expect. But no, yeah, it's like on the one hand, he's right. But on the other, ouch.
Yeah. And so Mio compares the situation to Mika's concert, like Starren mentioned. And then Mio's kind of like, hey, if it's going to be like this, I quit. and walks away.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.
And so many people on, like, Twitter and everywhere were just like, wow, fuck Mio.
Honestly, though, after watching it, I'm like, fuck this producer. He's so bad at taking care of these girls.
Yeah, that too, but it's like I just remember a lot of there was some discourse on Twitter back around the time that this episode aired, and like a lot of the arguments pro Mio were like she's 15 and the producer did a bad job of explaining what it was gonna be like, which like
yeah.
But also like she probably should have expected it, but also she was not really given a metric of how to expect or what to expect.
No.
So I don't blame her is what I'm saying. Yeah. I feel like she acted rashly, but I feel like she acted exactly how a 15-year-old would, so I can't really hold it against her.
Yeah, and it's also fun because I feel like this is an arc that we haven't seen in other idol anime. The whole, like, they're successful and then it wasn't their own success, and then when they started doing their own thing, they're like, oh.
Yeah, it's like... It kind of reminds me of some, like, advice that I hear going around in, like, streamer circles. If you don't mind a slight tangent where Star talks about a thing that she likes. So if you guys didn't know, your girl's a Twitch streamer. Twitch.tv/thestarfishface, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 p.m. CST. I draw and I play video games and stuff sometimes. I don't know. But anyway.
Sounds fake.
Yeah, I'm a VTuber. It's all fake, Sarah. What the fuck do you think? But no, so like I watch a lot of like streamer advice and like Twitch advice is like, here's how to grow your channel. And I'm like, I will see if any of this advice is worth anything. And a lot of people talk about, like, when you try to make Twitch partner. So Twitch has a thing called Twitch partner, which is basically, like, Twitch senpai has noticed you, and then you get certain benefits from that. Like, more ad revenue money, you can get, like, more emotes, you can get all this other stuff. So basically, if you're on Twitch, partner is, like, the big goal that a lot of people try to hit. And so Twitch partner has they have rules, like you have to meet certain criteria before you can apply to be partner. And so one of those rules is, you have to have like a 75 people average viewership, I think. And so in order to hit that 75 viewer average, a lot of people will do something called a partner push, which is basically like, they're like, hey, I'm really trying to get partnered. I would really appreciate it if a lot of people could show up to my stream. You don't have to interact much. Just show up to my stream, help me boost my stream so I can get partner. But then once they make partner, those people are like, okay, they've made partner. I don't have to show up to their streams anymore. And so with a lot of people, what happens is after they hit Twitch partner, their viewership declines really fast. And it can be really demoralizing for a lot of people. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. And I'm like, this is that.
Yeah. It's that, but iDOL.
It's that, but iDOL, and much faster, because it can take people like months or years to hit Twitch partner.
And to be iDOL, all you have to do is have a nice smile.
Yeah. Have a nice smile, catch the attention of this weird prolonged eye contact creeper, and then put on a cute dress and suddenly you're Idoru.
Yep, that's all you do.
Congratulations.
Episode 7 starts with like a brief refresher from the last episode. The main difference here is when Mio runs away, she runs away, but there's like a silhouette of like Cinderella running away from the ball. And you're like, oh, Cinderella.
It's like, oh, symbolism. Cinderellaism.
Yes.
Symbolism.
So Mio doesn't show up to work or practice the next few days. Uzuki and Rin are just kind of sitting at the office being like, hey, if Mio doesn't show up, what's going to happen to us?
And the producer's like, we're working on it. It's like,
I know! Like, come on, communicate. They even offered to like, hey, can we go see Mio and help talk to her? And producer's like, no, let me deal with it. And you're like,
he's like, are you gonna deal with it, sir?
Come on.
At any point, will you deal with this, sir? Jeez.
So there's just a lot of like back and forth of the producer trying to contact Mio and the other girls trying to contact Mio, and Mio just being like, not into it. Like, hey, stop bothering me.
Yeah.
meanwhile, producer still not telling Rin and Uzuki anything, right? So they're all like, hey, so Rin ends up going to the producer and is like, hey, you told me to get into this idol business because it would be something that like finally makes me happy. I'm not happy right now, and the way you're behaving is making it worse.
Tell him, Rin, get his ass.
And then she like walks away and she's like, I thought I could trust you. And this like shakes the producer up and he's like, oh no, what happened? Meanwhile, the producer, while he's trying to talk to Mio, is also talking to the other girls. So he talks to like Minami and Anya being like, hey, how'd you guys feel about the performance? Like trying to gauge if they felt sad like Mio did. But they both were like, oh, we were so nervous. But like when we went on stage, it was just like stage lights and we just sang and it was great. And so like, he's like, well, I guess it wasn't the way I set up a performance. Just like, come on.
Fucking dude.
Mika also like goes up to the producer being like, oh, this is all my fault for letting them be in my concert as backup dancers. I feel horrible. And the producer's like, no, it's not. And it's like, the problem is how cryptic this is. The next day, with all this happening, Rin shows up to the office and she's alone this time because Uzuki has called out sick. And then, like, you as a viewer are like, oh no, Uzuki is also, like, just given up at this point. Is bad.
They're dropping like flies. Oh, God.
So the producer goes to visit Uzuki at her house. And she is actually sick. So she isn't just calling out because she wants to quit. She's calling out because she's actually sick.
And this is why you get your flu shot, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, get your flu shot. Don't be a background character. Don't be sick like Uzuki.
Yep. Don't let your dreams be crushed by idol sickness.
No. So the producer talks to Uzuki and he's like, hey, I've been trying to gather how people feel about the concert. Like, Rin said she's disappointed in me, and then Love Like a Girl said that they felt happy. How do you feel, Uzuki?
Please take this 10-question survey.
Basically. And Uzuki tells him, like, I was just so nervous, like, trying to make sure I didn't fall the whole time. And then she flashes back to the concert. She's like, I didn't smile, and I feel really disappointed for letting people down by not smiling. Because you said how great my smile is, and I didn't smile.
I didn't even show them the goods. God damn.
No, didn't show those shiny teeth.
My shiny teeth and me are all disappointments.
my shiny teeth and Mio.
Oh! Amazing. My shiny teeth and Mio. Hi, I'm Mio. Hi, I'm Mio.
So, producer is thinking like, well, that's not what's wrong with Mio either.
Motherfucker.
I know. Meanwhile, the girls, besides New Generation, learn from, like, the office manager. You see her from time to time. She's only there as a gimmick, being like, hey, we have a gotcha game too, pretty much.
Yeah.
And she just starts telling them this, like, weird story of, like, once there was a prince, and he used to take care of these princesses, but then all of those girls quit, and now he's standoffish. So that's our producer backstory, and that somehow excuses all of this.
It really doesn't, because it just shows you, oh, he's already sucked once and has clearly learned nothing.
No, so I guess he went from being very passionate about helping people to, like, business-like and distant, but it's like, there's an in-between there, dude.
Yeah, there's a very vital in-between, sir. There's a happy medium, one might call it. Which sounds like an idol group name, if I'm thinking about it.
Happy Medium would be a good idol group.
Yeah. Okay, Sarah, that's gonna be our idol group because I'm very tall and you're very short, so we're the happy medium.
I love it.
Oh, but we need a third member who's of average height who can channel spirits from the dead.
And that could be you. Join our Discord group.
Join our Discord. Do you speak with the dead? Join our idol group that totally exists.
Exactly. I would say my wife, but she's the same height as you.
She is. She cannot be our happy medium. I'm sorry, Athena, you're too tall.
I think she's like half an inch shorter than you. That is not in between.
Yeah, no. Like we fight over it sometimes depending on what shoes we're wearing.
So while this tale is being told about the producer going to extremes, you see him like running through the rain, you know, because it's our mid-season crisis.
Yeah.
And he ends up at Mio's house.
Of course he does.
She lives in an apartment, and she gets a call from the producer being like, hey, I'm downstairs.
And then you look outside and he's holding a boombox
Basically.
that has the Onegai Cinderella Girls playing. But
Mio is like, no, I'm not going to talk to you. But while he's out there in his boombox, a bunch of people start coming by, like, ready to call the cops.
And they're like, who's this dude with his fucking boombox? He's causing a public disturbance and being kind of creepy, actually.
And she's like, okay, I'll go down and save him, because Jesus.
He's like, sir, you're posting cringe. Right outside right in front of my house. You're posting cringe.
So she saves him from the neighbors, but she's like, okay, I'm going back in, bye. But this time, instead of backing off and being businesslike, he follows after her and being like, wait, just hear me out.
Let me come into your house.
And then he's like, hey, can I just show you something about that concert? And she's like, fine, whatever. And he like takes out his camera and he's like, here are pictures from the concert. And then she looks at them and she sees that she wasn't smiling at all throughout the whole thing. And she's like, oh, wow, I wasn't smiling. That kind of sucks. I was so busy looking at the size of the crowd. I just wasn't happy. And he's like, well, yeah, you weren't smiling, but look at this. And he zooms in on the picture and it shows some like audience members and all of them look really happy. He's like, even though you weren't smiling, you made all the audience like really happy. And you were still successful, even though it was small for what you think. I deemed it as a natural success. When I said it was only natural, I was saying it was natural that the people would be happy, not that it was natural that you have a small crowd. Which is like, you could have said that back then. You could have, because the way he said it was like dismissive, like, oh, whatever. But it was more of like him being like, oh, yeah, good, you made people happy. Which is like, this feels like backtracking, dude, but all right.
Yeah.
But anyways, Mio's like, wow, I feel like such an asshole. I wasn't paying attention to the audience's like mood. I was just paying attention to their numbers. And he's like, well, if you feel bad about yourself, like maybe like hiding isn't the right thing to do. And you coming back to work is going to be the way you can make sure you're making people happy or whatever, which is fine. So they go back towards Mishiro. But on the way there, they run into Rin in the park, who at this point is angry at producer because, yeah. And he's like, hey, Rin, I am so sorry. And Mio's like, hey, I'm so sorry. Please keep being an idol with us. And producer's like, yeah, and also you were right. I should have, like, told you guys the rationale behind things and not just been like, yeah.
You should have, motherfucker.
And Rin's like, I still can't trust you. But if Mio says it's okay, sure, I'll go back.
Yeah.
Then in the end, like, all three of the new generation girls are back together and they're all happy. Uzuki's back in the office. She has, like, a face mask because she's, like, still recovering a little bit. But she's happy that everyone's back. And then, after all of that's resolved, the producer announces that the next phase of the Cinderella project is about to begin. And what that means is we're going to have a bunch of episodes about subunits.
Yay!
Hooray! So our first subunit episode is actually a solo subunit. It is Ronko's episode.
Edgelord!
So the producer says that she is going to make her debut with a single and also a music video. And he's like, hey, so we were gonna like wait till you tell us like exactly your vibe before we finish all the lyrics, but like here's what the song's name is gonna be, and here's like our outline for what the music video is gonna look like. And she starts looking through the outline and she just gets more and more freaked out. And you find out that the music video concept is like a straight up like horror, like gore, like creepy, violent, spooky PV.
Yeah.
And you also learn that Ronko is very scared of these spooky sort of things.
Like, she's goth, but she's not horror goth.
Yes, but the producer doesn't know this at this point. So he's like, you're goth, wouldn't you like this stuff?
I thought all the goths loved this.
And unfortunately, it's actually kind of a funny gag, Ronko only speaks Chuni. So, like, she'd be like, but the fallen wings of the angel do not see the light of day or something. And then like the producer will like have this notebook for Ronco time and you like flip through and you'd be like, oh, it means this. It means you don't like the way that this is laid out.
Oy.
But he's like, okay, well, I guess we'll rethink it. Because she doesn't like fully explain that she doesn't like the horror genre. She just kind of is like, I don't like this. I don't even want to think about it. And he's like, I don't know why you think that because you won't tell me. Meanwhile, just like a little side thing is all of the other girls in the office are like sitting in the Cinderella Project office and they're like, it's really plain here. What if we decorated it? And then the producer's like, sure, I'll let you guys bring in one thing from home and that thing can like represent you in this office and make it feel more like home. So the next day, all the girls come in with their stuff. And Ronco has brought in a horseshoe. And he's like, or all the girls are like, wow, Ronco, you brought in a horseshoe. That doesn't feel like scary at all. Then Anya, because she's a good girl and like pays attention to people, is like, oh, but Ronco doesn't like horror. She likes being goth, but she doesn't like horror. What are you talking about? This lucky symbol is perfect for her. And like everyone, including the producer, like, oh.
Oh, we have figured out the aesthetic.
Some of the girls from Cinderella Project live at their houses, right? Like Mia lived in her apartment with their family. But some of the other girls who do not live in the Tokyo area live in a dorm that's attached to the main campus. And that's how Anya knows more about Ronco, is because they're in the dorm together.
Yeah.
But that night when Ronco goes home, instead of having dinner with other people in the dorm cafeteria, she goes back to her room and she starts sketching. And you're like, oh, she has ideas. The next day, she comes in with her sketchbook. There's a bunch of gags about her, like, wanting to show the producer but being too shy to say it because they need to fill up time, I guess.
Yeah.
But then as the sun sets, the producer finds her because she keeps like almost showing him and then running away and almost showing him and then running away. And then he ends up with her and he's like, wow, this sunset's beautiful. But he says it like in her Chuni language. So she gets all like sparkly eyed. She's like, oh, you can speak to me.
You speak my Chunibyo.
And then eventually it kind of leads to her like opening up to the producer, and then she shares her notebook and he looks at it and he's like, oh, I get the aesthetic. It's not horror and it's not just goth. It's like you are a fallen angel. So it's the combination of the angelic and the darkness, not like angelic and goth or angelic and gore. So then they rework the PV and the lyrics to the song around the whole fallen angel but not creepy aesthetic. And she has her PV and it's cute. It is very goth, her new song. And then at the end, Ronco thanks the producer for listening to her voice and not just like overriding her or forcing another vision upon her. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Episode 9, another subunit. This whole string is just going to be the subunit episodes.
Yep.
This one is Candy Island. So Candy Island is Anzu, the only want to work if I'm paid one. Chieri, the Yukio one. And Kaneko, the I like to bake one.
Yep.
So they're all in a subunit. And as part of promotion for their new song, they have been invited to appear on a variety show. And they are facing off against other members of Cinderella Girls. And I think the hosts are also Cinderella Girls. So it's just like, let's just show a bunch of people.
Yep.
It's just a bunch of like, I guess, variety show style, like, competition, like, catch marshmallows in your mouth.
Yep.
All of the girls from Candy Island do good. They're, like, properly, slightly klutzy, but in a good idol way, you know? And then during the last competition, it's like a thing where they have to like answer trivia questions, and like if they don't get the trivia question, the idols are on like a slide and like the slope gets higher, and if they fall down, they lose.
Yeah. Oh, I remember this.
And the idea is the winning team gets to promote their music video, and the losing team has to go bungee jumping. Sure, whatever. So Anzu is immediately like, I do not want to go bungee jumping. I am going to do whatever we can to answer this right. So she starts going for like the really hard questions and like answers them immediately, like super enthused, like, because I guess when she's motivated, she's motivated. But at the very end, like both of the teams are on like really high slopes, and there's a question about like botany, basically, so like a plant question. And Anzu, like, despite knowing all these other obscure trivia question answers, she's like, I don't know the answer. And then Chieri speaks up, and because she's the Yukio one, it's like a surprise because she's usually quiet, right? And she's like, the answer is a 4-leaf clover, because that's her gimmick.
Of course it is.
And then she wins that competition. But because it was total points around the whole show, turns out both idol teams tied.
Of course they do.
So they get to share promo space, which they do. They promo their new song.
Happy happy days 続いてゆくあなたと二人の物語ずっと一緒にいよう弱いとこ含めて全部好きだよ Happy happy days 夢を見たの
Yeah.
And then also a scene of Anzu going bungee jumping. The end.
Get wrecked, nerd.
Candy Island.
Yep.
All right, next episode is Decoration. This is another one where the producer gets arrested, but we'll get there.
Everybody take a drink, and you'll be very hydrated by the end.
So the Tall and the Two Smalls are making their CD debut. Their unit is Decoration. And they are promoting their CD debut by like collaborating with like a Harajuku style fashion company. And so they're just going to be doing like this like tour on like these traveling stages around the city promoting fashion and also their clothes.
Yeah.
So they do like their first like stage like talk through interview thing before, but again they're transiting around the city, so they're going to be doing a lot. And after their first one, the producer is talking to them, being like, "Yeah, you guys did pretty good. You had good energy, but I have some critique." And then Mika walks in, the cool girl, good aunt, nice girl from the concert.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Little sister, you did great. All of you did great. I'm so proud of you, but let me give you some critique." And the extent of her critique and the producer's critique kind of amounts to the fact that they need to engage their audience more. So they need to have a way to get people, not just people who are there because they like the clothes, but like people on the street to be interested in them and their product. So all the girls are like, yeah, okay, let's think about it. We'll try to figure out a way. So on the way to their next venue, Kirari, the tall one who speaks very uwu, she's like, "Hey, we're going to be passing by Takashita Street. What if we went and got crepes? Maybe that'll give us some inspiration." And the producer's like, "Sure, we have time. Let's go to Takashita Street." So then there's a bunch of clips of all the girls like wandering around like Takashita Street, so like the fashion district of Harajuku.
Yeah. Like the street.
The street. So they're like eating crepes and dressing up and doing stuff. And while they're doing all this, the producer's like, "You know what? This would be great for PR photos."
He's not wrong.
So he follows them like 15 feet behind, just snapping pictures the whole time. In like his business suit looking creepy as fuck.
Yup.
And then there's a point where like the trio is like distracted because like some random like street fashion magazine recruiters started talking to them. And then while they're distracted, the producer gets a tap on his shoulder, and there's the cops being like, "Why are you taking your pictures of small children?"
Which, like, yeah.
Which, yeah. So he gets taken down to the station. The girls look around and they're like, where did our producer go?
Good question.
So then there's a bunch of gags of like near misses. So like producer ends up getting like bailed out by the office manager lady. Mika is there because she's like yelling at the producer for losing track of her little sister, which like fair. And then the other three girls just like wandering around Harajuku and being like, look at all this cool stuff, but also where's our producer?
Yep. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Don't worry about it. And also like all of them are like playing phone tag like through the office. So like producers calling the office who's like talking to the other girls because of some communication thing with the phones not working. I don't remember, but they're all having trouble contacting. But then Kirari looks up and she's like, oh no, our next like interview is supposed to be really soon. We need to get going. And the two littles are like, but if we don't find the producer, what if something bad happens to him? But she's like, you know, we can find him and Mika up to this point, and I think the best thing we could do is go to a location where they know we're gonna be, and we can find them from there, which is a good idea.
Yeah. Because freaking Harajuku is nuts. If you lose someone, you are never gonna find them again.
And so all the girls start going to their next venue. One of the smoles, she ends up like having like a blister on her foot because they were running around in like these like high fashion clothes. Then I forgot who it was. It was probably Kirari came up with the idea of like, hey, I have an idea. What if I carry you and we take off of our like idol disguises, like our trench coats and glasses? And what if part of our audience participation is we just parade over there with our cool clothes, telling people like, hey, here's where the concert is. Maybe the producer, if he's out there, will notice us, which is a good idea. And then also it's us engaging the audience.
Yeah.
So the trio go parading. Mika and the producer notice the crowd. They find them. And then they do good at their interview and promoting. So it was a cute episode. Again, all of these like episodic ones are all these unit episodes are really episodic. So they're like there's not a lot of continuity with the rest of the anime. They're a little bit filler, but they're cute.
Yeah. It's getting to know the characters like better more than like developing the plot, really.
Yeah. And in some ways it is like the way the Idolmaster is doing it is giving them subunits, but it's a good way to be like, we know there's a lot of them, so here's a quick way to get a bunch of them at once.
Basically.
And then episode 11, the worst subunit episode.
Yep, the leftovers.
It is the leftovers. It is Rina, the rock and roll one, and Miku, the Nia one. And you find out they've been put in a subunit together.
Because they're the only ones left.
Yeah, they're like, they asked the producer straight up, they're like, are we in a subunit because you're the only ones left? And their producer's like, nope, there was a reason. I'm not going to tell you. And you as the audience are like, you just put them in a unit because you're the only ones left.
Because they're the only ones left, yeah.
But I guess, for me, I don't know if you know the answer to this, Star. Like, I have no idea why they chose the girls they did for Cinderella Project for the anime.
I'm not sure. I feel like part of it was probably just like your basic popularity polls.
No, I cross-checked popularity polls and they are not. Some of them were like high up, but some of them really weren't. It's like I have no idea why they picked this group.
Yeah, dunno.
It might be just based off of like the voice actors and the songs that they wanted to produce.
Maybe.
But it feels kind of weird.
I wonder.
Yeah. So the two of them just don't get along. Both of them have very strong visions and very strong personalities. Miku only wants to be a cutesy cat girl, and Rina only wants to be punk rock and roll. Most of the episode is just them fighting with each other the whole time.
Yep.
But then the producer announces, hey, we're planning on having an idol festival. And we want all the subunits to perform in it, but there's not a lot of time left, so you guys gotta get your shit together. So the girls are like, okay, well, we'll at least try to pretend like we're getting along, and maybe at least we can debut with this like idol festival and then break up or whatever. But even with all of that and all the practicing, it's just not going well. And they asked the producer, like, hey, can we just do our debut solo? And the producer's like, yeah, I guess we can, but we're going to need time to do the songs and get this ready. So if you really, really want it, we can figure it out, but you're not going to debut in time for this Idol festival.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they're kind of like, okay, fine, whatever. We'll go back into trying to get along, even though we don't get along. Eventually, one of the other Cinderella Project girls is like, why don't you guys share a room together? Oh, it was Rika. She's like, my sister Mika and I share a room together and we get along well. So if you two share a room together, you'll get along well. Which I don't think it's, I feel like the opposite happens, but
oh
sure.
my god, they were roommates.
Oh my god, they were roommates. But basically they live together for like a couple of days. There's a point where like Rina makes like a fish dinner while Miku is like working late, and Miku comes home and she's like, I hate fish, what did you do? And gets upset and they start fighting again. But then halfway through that fight, Miku's like, she made dinner because she thought it was something I would like, and maybe she actually does care a little bit. So it's like a bunch of little things of like, maybe she's not the worst person ever. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
They're still like kind of tenuous, still fighting a lot, but at least they're starting to see eye to eye. So back at the studio, they're at practice together, and Miku, Nia, overhears the producer talking to somebody. And that person's like, we just need like a song for a little idol concert, but we only need it in 3 days. There's no way we can get it in time. And then producer's like, I'm sorry, all of our girls that are like not cringe are booked up. There's nothing we can do. But then Miku bursts in and is like, no, we'll do it for you. I volunteer our double group to be the people at your little mini concert.
Yup. And producer's like, no, you're cringe.
You know, you're cringe, but also like, he's like, I'll allow it if you can like figure out your shit out in 3 days.
Ew.
Because they also need to like, the other thing is like, they have a backbeat. Right? So they have a backbeat to their song, and they're like, both Rina and Miku are like, yeah, we like the backbeat. But because they don't actually have an image, because the producer just put together the leftovers and didn't tell them what their image should be, basically, they don't have lyrics. And so the producer's like, well, because our time's limited, we don't have time to get a lyricist on this. So you guys are in charge of writing your lyrics for this concert.
Just don't make it too cringe.
Don't make it too cringe. Also, you have 3 days.
Yeah, which is not enough time.
No. But then with like a new like common goal, the two of them start getting along, and like there's still like little scenes of them fighting about lyrics, like one of them being like, we need a nya here, and the other one being like, we need a guitar riff here.
Guitar riffs are not lyrics, but I guess neither are nyas. So.
No. Eventually they get something that works. The morning of the concert, they show the producer, and he's like, okay, this'll do, whatever. And they go on stage, and they start doing like a Nia Woda chant.
I just remember seeing this and I'm like, oh no, is the whole song gonna be this?
It's so much cringe. The song was okay. It has like a strong rock beat, but also a lot of Nia.
Yeah.
Also, the song's name is Awover.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious to
yeah.
me.
I just remember like in the second season there's a remix of this song that comes up, And I like the remix a lot, actually, because it's more of like kind of a rock thing, and we'll get into that like when we cover season 2. But
yes, especially because it starts with the Nya chant.
it's a fun beat. One could certainly dance to it. It's a little weird.
It is a little weird. So at the end, the girls are like, yep, we respected each other's quirks. I think we can work together as a unit and we can do Idol Fest. And the producer's like, sure, let me finalize the schedule for this Idol Fest again. What's your unit name? And the office manager's like, what do you mean, what's their unit name? I thought it was asterisk, because the producer had written just like a little asterisk in where their name should be, just to remind himself to put something there.
Yeah.
And the girls are like, what does asterisk mean? And then office manager's like, oh, it means like little star. And then Rena and Mika are like, yeah, we like that name. Accepted.
We're keeping it.
At the end of the episode, you see their outfits for the Idol Fest, which I think is actually a cute solution, is they have like headphones, but the headphones have cat ears. Ariana Grande style. Yep.
Yeah. Star style. Excuse you. I'm literally wearing them right now.
Ew. Episode 12. So we get into like the last kind of character view. This one very much focuses on Minami, who you remember is mom energy / lacrosse.
Yep.
So all the girls are at a training camp ahead of the Idol Festival. It is indeed the same training camp as all the other Idol Masters.
Yup.
Because Idol Master franchise likes having the parallels between them, and so every single side-M original...
And also probably saving money on backgrounds a little bit.
Oh, probably. So they are all at the training camp, and part of the way through the training camp before this Idol Festival, producer's like, hey, I have to go prepare for the festival, so I'm leaving Minami in charge because she's the oldest and knows what she's doing, and I prepped her on everything.
She's the mom. Be nice to your mom. I'll be back later. Bye.
But the other thing he announces during, like, right as he's about to outie out the door is like, also, you all have your unit songs, but management's pretty much decided you're also going to have a big song together, all of you.
Gasp.
Gasp. So, he leaves. Minami's in charge. She does pretty good at being in charge. She's good at wrangling the chaos. But during morning practice, basically all the Cinderella Project girls are not coordinated because they've never performed together.
Mm-hmm.
Also, most of the groups have people who are like, yeah, I don't even think this is a good idea. It's hard enough to keep with their own stuff. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
That night, Minami is like super stressed. She's like, I couldn't pull all of them together. I couldn't encourage them. I don't know what to do. And she's in the room next to Anya. And Anya's like, here, let me hold my hand. I can help like share some of the stress and offload it. Me and my mom used to hold hands when I was stressed at night. And it was like kind of like the you don't have to be alone even though you're the leader thing.
Yeah.
The next day, Minami is a little more encouraged, but their practice is still like not doing great. And she's like, we just got to find a way to, like, you know, how we held each other's hands, me and Anya, we have to like all hold each other's hands somehow. How are we going to get coordinated?
Everybody get in a circle.
And as we know on Idol Days, the best way to get your idol group coordinated is sports.
Sports!
So they all break up into like their units as teams, but they have like relay races and like water balloon fights and like trust falls and just the power of sports. Like some of the girls are hesitant at first, but then like once they realize that they're all working together and cheering each other on, they can be coordinated.
Yay!
So in the end,
friendly bonding.
All of them practice together, and because of the magic with sports, they're coordinated. And then one last thing, right before the end, the producer comes back and he's like, "You guys are doing great, Minami. You were great at like teaching everyone. One question from all of you. Just because you're going to be there in a big group, we're going to need a leader for you guys as a big group. Who should it be?" And then like all the girls look at Minami and they're like, Minami, and she's like super blushy and like, oh, they really liked it and it was cute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good beans.
Last episode of season 1, or part 1. It is time for the iDOL Festival.
Yay!
So the iDOL Festival is basically everyone from, or all the units from Ishiro. So like, I presume it has the other like 170 something girls performing, along with their main cast.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like a big production. So like the audiences are going to be bigger because it's people who are already fans of Cinderella Girls. And it's also only people in this franchise, you presume, recording. Lastly, the Cinderella Girl, or the Cinderella Project Girls, they're all kind of performing last at the end of the day. So all the big idols are going to be like there during the daytime.
Mm.
So they're kind of in the back helping out or just watching.
Yeah.
So while they're helping out and just watching, Chieri is back there and she's like the shy one and she gets nervous. She's like, I don't know what to do. And then Minami's like, hey, why don't we just practice together and maybe it'll like make you feel more confident just having this extra dance practice.
Mm-hmm.
But during this dance practice, Minami collapses.
Oh no!
You find out it's because she's been overworking herself. Ever since she was elected as the group leader, she's been like doing all the coordinating, like helping each of the girls who's struggling, like running around everywhere, and overworked herself and got sick because that's what happens when you're in an idol anime.
That's what happens when you're a mom.
That's what happens when you're a mom.
Single mom taking care of her kids.
There's like a really sad scene though where like she's in like the infirmary and she's sitting there and she just like has her head in her hands, and the producer's talking to her being like, I can't let you perform, and like she doesn't even look up and being like, just let Anya perform, like even if she has to go solo, I don't want her to miss her opportunity. Just like a lot of guilt and shame and being sad.
Sad baby.
Sad baby time. So producer goes back to the other girls and is like, hey, Minami, she has like a high fever. I can't in good conscience let her go on stage. She wants you to perform, Anya, but like, I don't know if anyone's willing to be like a second and step in and perform with you. Mm-hmm. And all the other girls are looking around being like, I don't know the song very well.
But
Ronko steps up and is like, actually, we bonded over sports, so I can sing.
The power of sports compels you.
The power of sports compels you. So Ronko is assigned to Love Laika for this part. Also, meanwhile, like, Minami is still, like, really upset backstage, and there's a point where Mika, like, again, nice girl from the club. She's so good. She's great. She walks in and she's like talking to Minami and being like, hey, this happens. Idols get overworked. You're trying hard. It's all right. Don't let it get you down. You got this. Just take care of yourself, girl. You look great. You know, just queen comments, which does help Minami a little bit. And also it kind of encourages her to like take the time she would be performing or running around to like rest instead of just sitting there stressing. So now it's performance time for the subunits. We see Memories by Love Laika, but this time with Ronko. There's kind of like heartbreaking. You see also cut-ins of Minami like back at the infirmary and she's like mouthing the words as like Ronko's singing them and you're like, oh no.
He's like, oh baby.
Baby. The audience is a little bit confused, like, where did Minami go? But then, like, they start getting into it and being like, yeah, I like this other girl, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, idols. And then the concert ends, and it starts to rain.
Dun, dun, dun. Of course it does.
In my outdoor idol concert?
More likely than you think.
So it starts raining. It rains even harder. The power goes out. That's not important because it's not in the middle of a concert. It's just showing that, like, it's a bad enough storm to make the power go out. But then eventually the rain starts subsiding enough that, like, the organizers of the event are like, okay, we can get the next unit on stage so that way we can, like, finish the event and still have everyone perform.
Yeah.
But the next people on stage are new generations. And the producer looks out at the audience and he's like, hey, it's still kind of drizzling. And most people are like not back at the venue yet. and New Generations is performing, I don't want Mio to like quit again.
Yeah, it's like Mio's gonna freak out. This isn't good.
So he goes, and this time he actually tells them ahead of time what the audience is like, which is a good idea.
Yeah. Thanks for learning.
And I think this changed the outcome. They're like, yep, we understand it was raining, but you know what we're going to do? We're going to make sure, even if there's only like 4 people in the audience, we're going to make sure that they're smiling and we're smiling at them too. Just like, you learned, girls. Good job.
Get 'em, babies. Go.
Get them.
Get 'em.
So they go out and they sing the New Generation songs. It's like the Evolution. They do good, and then like while they're singing, more and more people like come out from like the awnings, and the sun starts coming up, and it's very happy. The power of idols makes the weather turn good, you know, as you do.
Yeah, of course.
And then you get a bunch of short like still frame clips of the other groups doing their song. They're like, yes, they're singing, but we only have 20 minutes for an episode, so you're not actually gonna watch them.
Yeah, no.
And then it is all the girls in the back, and they are prepping for their last song. And then Minami walks in, and she is wearing their, like, big unit outfit. And she goes up to the producer and is like, hey, my fever's gone down because I was able to rest. Can I please sing the last song with everyone else?
Can I pretty please?
Pretty please.
Also be an idol.
The producer gives his approval because, again, she rested. Which is, again, thanks to Mika. Like, she's just so nice this whole time. She's like the little background. She's the fairy godmother.
Oh my god, you're right.
I love her. She's wonderful.
Tokimeki godmother.
So all of the girls are like, yay, Minami gets to do the last song with us. They all get in their circle. And they're like, well, who's going to lead the cheer? And they all look at Minami, and she's like, oh no, I don't deserve to at all. I like failed last minute. And everyone's like, no, it's because you were like helping us the whole time. So Anya like takes her hand, and then like Ranko takes her hand on the other side, and then everyone holds hands and they do their little cheer before going on stage. It's very cute. And then I think their last song, it's Going, like going. It's a very Idolmaster sounding song, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, you could tell it was an Idolmaster song, but that's a good thing, because they have a very distinct flavor. And then you, like, get, like, clips of, like, the audience watching them over the song. It's, like, fully animated, flying cameras, that Idolmaster goodness we like.
Yep.
I think their outfits are pretty cute. I like the Cinderella girl outfits more, but I like the Going outfits, too. It's, like, the ones that have, like, the pennant fronts.
Yeah,
it's super
cute.
And there is also a quick cut-in of someone watching their performance on a laptop, a mysterious lady in a backlit office. She's like, interesting, and she shuts her laptop, and you're like, who are you? You'll find out who she is in part 2 of our Cinderella Girls episode.
Oh shit!
Oh gee, spoilers! And then we have our season 1 wrap up. So you see all of the girls post concert. They're sitting on the stage. It's kind of a cute scene. Like, the stage is like the lights, the big lights are off, but like the LED screen behind them is still on. It's making like the Cinderella Girls twirl. You can see like people working around them, like deconstructing the festival. It's very much like a post festival vibe, and like they're the performers, so they're just sitting there.
Definitely. It's cute.
It's very cute. And it's just like them talking about like all of the challenges so far and how good they did. Uzuki's like, this really feels like we're idols. And all the girls are like, we are idols, Uzuki,
We are
you
idols.
did it.
Hello.
There's also a part where the producer brings in like boxes and boxes and he's like, hey, these are all fan letters. They're for you guys. We organize them by box. And they're like, for us?
For me?
For me? Mio opens a letter from her box of fan letters, and it's a fan who like came to Idol Fest after becoming her fan at the concert in the mall. Which she's like, wow, I got someone to be my fan back then, even though I was at my worst. And it's like, she's looking at it and she's like, wow, I'm really glad I didn't quit because I could let this person be my fan. Which is very cute.
Babies.
And then you also get a scene of the producer being like, hey, Reen, did you find something that you feel good about? Are you glad that you're an idol? And Reen's like, yeah. So that's season 1 of Cinderella Girls.
Yeah. Good babies.
Yeah. So there's like, I feel like, because I watched Cinderella Girls a long time ago, and I think you pointed this out too, Star, like, I forgot most of these girls existed, you know?
Yeah. Because I'm looking at like Clover Girl,
Yeah.
and like I forgot that she existed, and like Kanako, the little baker child,
Yeah.
like she's okay, but that's literally her only personality. Miria, who,
Yeah.
Miku, get lost.
Yeah.
Rina,
Yeah.
or Rika, bye.
Yeah. So it's like, really, like, when I have memories of Cinderella Girls, like, I remember the New Generation's girls and the Love Like-a girls.
Yeah.
And that's kind of it.
Like, I don't even really keep track of the Love Like-a girls very much. I like Anya, but Minami's just kind of to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, she's cute,
Yeah.
but she doesn't have much going for her.
Yes. I guess she gets sick sometimes. Get your flu
Yeah.
shots.
Get your flu shot so you don't become a minor character in an idol anime.
But I don't know. It's still very like, it's still very Idolmaster. The animation quality, you know, the lives are good, but it does dip at certain points when you could tell they were spending too much time trying to make lives look good.
Yeah. We're going to talk more about that in season 2, because there's a bit that I remember very clearly where you
Yeah.
can tell they ran out of money.
Yes, there are definitely parts where you're like, yeah, we see where you put your budget and where you didn't.
Yeah.
But I feel like they had a lot of heart still, even though it had a cat girl. Who has no heart. She's feral.
No, yeah. Goodbye, cat girl.
I guess it's hard to have like best girls because really at this point you don't know much about most of them.
Yeah, and my best girl doesn't show up till season 2. Wow, wow.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I like Uzuki a lot. I still like Uzuki.
She's a good bean.
I didn't like Anzu the first time I saw it, but now that I'm watching it as an adult with a full-time job, and I'm like, yeah, get paid for what you do. I like you.
Yeah.
And then, like, honestly, like, even though she only shows up occasionally, like a fairy godmother, I really like Mika. She's great.
No, Mika's freaking great. Like, I like a lot of characters who actually get introduced in the second season, because the second season, like, introduces, like, it doubles the cast,
Yeah.
basically. It introduces a lot of new characters, but, I love Now.
Eyebrows.
Yeah. Eyebrow princess. I love her. I love she. She's very fluffy. She's cute. She doesn't show up until the second half.
Yep.
But I love her. I like a lot of the characters that don't show up until later. But yeah, Mika's a very good bean.
So we will talk about them soon.
Yes, next time. Idolmaster Cinderella Girls Part 2. Pew, 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 pew. Hey, Sarah, if people want to find us around the internet, where can they go?
You can go to our website at idoldays.card.co. That's idoldays.carrd.co or idolilluminati.net. Star, if people want to find us on social media, where can they go?
We are on Twitter and Instagram and Discord,
Ooh.
which I don't think counts as a social media, but I'm putting it here too. We're on Twitter and Instagram at iDOLDaysPod, all one word. And if you go to our website, you can find a link to our Discord server. It should also be in the description of the episode, depending on what podcasting service you use and if they allow for hyperlinks.
Yes, we are ideally looking for people to join our Discord server who are around 5'5".
Sarah.
Happy mediums.
It's happy medium. If you are 5'5" and want to be a member of our new idol trio, happy medium.
Happy medium.
Join our Discord and we'll talk about it.
So,
Amazing.
this has been Idol Days. We've been ladies. See you next live. Bye.